things that interest you, you go research and find out how sinister things really are. Hey, y'all, gravity, any day above ground, live it. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your Tuesday. It's a cool day. Now, I'm not going to be on here too long, but I just want to talk about this because I wanted to do this subject for a while. And if you were here yesterday when I did the live about what Trump was doing in case of BRICS, and that Karen showed up, you'll understand why this will hit a little different. So you saw the title. How did corporations become bigger than the government? This has been going on for over 50 years. But again, America being such a decadent society, you probably didn't pay attention to it. The supposed forefathers put laws in place so corporations don't take over, yet their political descendants decided to let corporations take over because they would get money off of it. They learned nothing from the Boston Tea Party. They learned nothing from the East Asia Trading Company. They learned none of this. They haven't learned from how the English do banking. They didn't learn none of this. And here we are. People who are supposed to be politically active and they're supposed to be for the people doing shopping for justice marches at conglomerates. Nasty work. Hello to the room. How y'all doing today? We're going to ask early. So let's get into this. So I found this website called reclaimdemocracy.org. And they have this article called Our Hidden History of Corporations in the U.S. So they write, when American colonists declared independence from England in 1776, they also freed themselves from control by English corporations that extracted their wealth and dominated trade. After fighting the revolution to end this exploitation, our country's founders retained a healthy fear of corporate power and wisely limited corporations exclusively to a business role. Corporations were forbidden from attempting to influence elections, public policy, and other realms of civic society. And we're way past that. Initially, the privilege of incorporation was granted selectively to enable activities that benefited the public, such as construction of roads or canals. Enabling shareholders to profit was seen as a means to that end. The states also imposed conditions, some of which remain on the books, though unused, like these. Corporate charters. Corporations could engage only in activities necessary to fulfill their chartered purpose. Corporations could not own stock in other corporations, any property that was not essential to fulfilling their chartered purpose. That's for you, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, and the other one. Corporations were often terminated if they exceeded their authority or caused public harm. Owners and managers were responsible for criminal acts committed on the job. Corporations could not make any political or charitable contributions nor spend money to influence lawmaking. For 100 years after the American Revolution, legislators maintained tight control of the corporate chartering process. Because of widespread public opposition, early legislators granted very few corporate charters, and only after debate. Citizens governed corporations by detailing operating conditions, not just in charters, but also in state constitutions and state laws. Incorporated businesses were prohibited from taking any action that legislators did not specifically allow. They also started talking about the farming age, the railroads. Look this up. Read this when you get a chance. There was a lot of good information in here. Then we move over to this, the Harvard Law School Forum on Corporate Governance. American corporations today are like the great European monarchies of Europe. They have the power to control the rules under which they function and to direct the allocation of public resources. This is not a prediction of what's to come. This is a simple statement of the present state of affairs. Corporations have effectively captured the United States' judiciary, its political system, and its national wealth without assuming any of the responsibilities of dominion. Evidence is everywhere. The smoking gun is CEO pay. Compensation is an expression of concentrated power, of enterprise power concentrated in the chief executive officer, of national power concentrated in corporations, and of national power, Median U.S. CEO pay for 2010 was up 35% in the midst of a lingering recession, while CEO pay over the last decade has doubled as a percentage of pre-tax corporate income. Yet there has been no justification for current levels of CEO pay based on economic value added. So basically, what they're saying is these companies, their CEOs, they don't even have to turn a profit, but they're getting record bonuses and payouts. Must be nice. When Lee Raymond retired as CEO of ExxonMobil at the end of 2005, after 6 years at the helm of the merged firm and another 6 as head of Exxon before that, he walked away with more than $250 million in realizable equity. Troutman twins are in the building. Troutman twins are in the building. In his final year alone, Raymond received in excess of $70 million in total compensation, an hourly wage of about $34,500 calculated at 40 hours a week for 50 weeks. No metric can justify such a raid on the corporate treasury as shareholder equity, but Raymond is only a particularly egregious and early example of what has since become common practice. Little wonder what the driving concern of banks receiving TARP bailout money was to pay it back so as to escape any restriction on executive pay. Retirement risk has been transferred to employees. During the same period that CEOs were doubling their own compensation, the best CEOs of the best companies abrogated the century-old commitment by employers to provide pensions to their workers. IBM has been the corporate leader in abolishing a real pension system for its employees. The 2006 elimination of ongoing defined benefit plans will save IBM as much as $3 billion through the next few years and provide it with a more predictable cost structure. TK said at the time. Translation, the worker bees are on their own. It's kind of like what happened with Enron when they went under and all them people lost their retirement. They lost their 401ks. Their Social Security took a hit. The financial power of American corporations now controls every stage of politics, legislative, executive, and ultimately judicial. With his January 2010 decision in the Citizens United case, the Supreme Court removed all legal restraints on the extent of corporate financial involvement in politics, a grotesque decision that can have only one effect: maximizing corporate, not national, value. Today, CEOs have been granted the power to direct political payments and organize PAC programs to achieve objectives entirely in their own self-interest, and they've been quick to use it. More than $300 million was invested by corporations in the 2008 presidential elections. The totals will be vastly higher in 2012 when the full impact of Citizens United is expressed, and the distribution will be politically agnostic. As Bill Moyers recently noted, President Obama has raised more money from banks, hedge funds, and private equity managers than any Republican candidate. Thank you, Haru King. A lot of people didn't know how far it went, so that's why we're here to teach. Thank you so much. Not even a good morning. Jesus. They just come in on 10. Okay. All right. Capture has been further implemented through the extensive lobbying power of corporations. Abraham Lincoln's warning about corporations enthroned and Dwight Eisenhower's about the unwanted influence by the military-industrial complex has been fully realized in our own time. Reported lobbying expenditures have risen annually to $3.5 billion in 2010. Half of the senators and 42% of House members who left Congress between 1998 and 2004 became lobbyists, as did 310 former appointees of George W. Bush and 283 of Bill Clinton. Harold King, nobody cares that you came in with the truth. We don't care. That's great. You know what's going on. A lot of people don't. Now, you have a choice to make. You can leave and let me get back to what I'm doing, or you can stay and contribute. How you want to do it? We're going to play democracy here. You have a choice. Now, if you want me to get on some socialist shit, I'll just kick your ass out. How you want to play it? Thank you so much. Capture has focused on Capture has focused on particular industries. Two powerful Democratic administrations have not been able to propose a system of single-payer health insurance, and they never will. Meanwhile, business interests have assured that whatever program of universal coverage emerges will lock in the interests of the insurance and the pharmaceutical industries. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at with it. Your mama's sassy. Now I see where you get it from. When she's on her back with her multiple boyfriends at the same time, you don't even knock on the door. You just walk in and watch. I get it. No, unhide the fucker. Unhide him. We gonna have fun this morning. We gonna have fun. I want to see how tough they are. Bring them back in. Nigga couldn't come in with a better response than that. Why don't you say the N-word correctly, sir? You female. Say the N-word correctly. Don't use ninja. Show me how tough you are. Thank you so much. There's always these zesty niggas. I'm a king. Nigga, what? Where we at? Two powerful Democratic administrations have not been able to... Oh, wait, I read that already. History has yet to sort out whether the Second Iraq War served any national objectives beyond military and industrial ones, but the suspicion that oil interests played a critical role in the rush to Bao is enhanced by Vice President Cheney's refusal to reveal names of the participants in his Energy Transition Committee. And you never know. You'll never know. Simultaneously, the inability to force public discourse of those participants offers a window into how thoroughly the energy industry controls its own agenda, destiny, and information flow. Not only has the industry succeeded in achieving and maintaining special regulatory and tax treatment in multiple other ways, it functions virtually as an independent state. Well, we all know that. Capture has placed the most powerful CEOs above the reach of the law and beyond its effective enforcement. We've seen that. Finally, capture has been perpetuated through the removal of property offshore, where it is neither regulated nor taxed. Now, this concerns all of us. Right here. The social contract between Americans and their corporations was supposed to go roughly as follows. In exchange for limited liability and other privileges, corporations were to be held to a set of obligations that legitimized the powers they were given. But modern corporations have assumed the right to relocate to different jurisdictions almost at will, irrespective of where they really do business, and thus avoid the constraints of these obligations. So we can go either local, or we can go international. And most times they'll go international, but still bank local. Ain't that crazy? They'll go to Delaware for the banking haven that it is, but they'll be ready to take their business overseas. I think the maintenance dude is about to come up in here. Yeah. Oh, never mind. Okay. He's going next door. All right. As Nicholas Shaxson writes in Treasure Islands, the privileges have been preserved and enhanced, but the obligations have withered. Meanwhile, the U.S. Treasury is estimated to be losing $100 billion annually from offshore tax abuses. Government cannot and will not hold corporations to account. That much is now obvious. Indeed, the dawning realization of this truth is what has informed the Occupy movement, but only the owners of corporations can create the accountability that will ultimately unwind the knot of government capture. And if you think they're going to do that, you're crazy. The essence of the problem is quite straightforward: a failed system of corporate governance. So is the cause: the unwillingness of trustee owners of America's corporations to assert their responsibility, legal duty, and civic obligation to monitor and oversee the corporations they invest in. Fiduciary institutions own 80% of the outstanding shares of corporate America. You hear this? Fiduciary institutions own 80% of the outstanding shares of corporate America, and thus bear at least 80% of the responsibility for present circumstances, as well as 80% of the onus for saving the system itself. Did we not see that in 2008? These fiduciary systems and corporations like AIG, they created the problem. The banks had to get involved. And the month sat up there and government told them, y'all got to figure this out. They couldn't figure it out. So we, the people, had to save them. And they went right back to doing the same thing. Right back. Do they have a system in place? Nope. And the next time it happens, it's going to be even worse. Because now you have the global south, you have BRICS. They're not going to be quick to help the entire world. They're going to be quick to help themselves. Nasty, nasty. And the largest institutional investors, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Harvard University, and others must take the lead because A, they should, and B, all other courses have failed. Urban park by urban park, campus by campus, the occupiers are bearing sometimes inchoate witness to America's capture by corporate interests. Now, men and women of conscience need to reoccupy the boardrooms of America's corporation. The boardroom is where the takeover began. It's where capture can finally be undone and the government of, by, and for the people, not the corporations, restored to the land. And that was from 2011. So they over here arguing about DEI. This corporation right here is arguing about DEI. I'm going to show y'all something. I want to show you something. Do you see this? I saw this morning. Do you see this? Goldman employees unhappy with low bonuses after CEO's $39 million payout. I've been seeing TikTok videos of people saying that their companies weren't giving out their bonuses this year. The employees who busted their ass are not getting bonuses. David Solomon received a hefty pay rise after the bank's best earnings in 3 years. He took home $39 million in compensation for 2024 and a 26% increase from 2023. So essentially, he made an extra $10 to $12 million. Ain't that something? The bonuses were revealed internally 2 weeks ago and have been termed chintzy by a number of employees who spoke to the New York Post. One first-year associate was disappointed again. $135,000 bonus on top of a $200,000 base salary, saying they were not happy with the number. That's chintzy. You make $200,000 and your bonus is about 65%, a little over 65%, and you're complaining. That's crazy. And you're a first-year associate. That's crazy. This is where the